Nathan Beats.
What's up, guys? This your boy Mr. I240. I'm back with another video. Before we get started, no, let me do that first. I want to give a big thanks to the man above for another beautiful day. We all know if it weren't for him, won't be no me, won't be no page, won't be no y'all. You know what I'm saying? I got some bad news, y'all. I will not do the grand finale of the Undertaker series, and here's why. It's just simple. The booking was trash over the past few years. Well, except, you had the Brock Lesnar versus Undertaker at SummerSlam. That was cool. But in between, you had your bad WrestleMania with John Cena. You had your stuff with Bray Wyatt, but he was out of shape at that point. The AJ Styles match was cool, but over the booking of the Undertaker over the past few years was not good. So I decided to move on. So if you did like the miniseries, go check out them 4 episodes, them 4 parts. Pretty good stuff. But I decided not to record it because he was getting booked poorly over the past few years. I mean, of course, you had your, your usual, the Triple H, the Shawn Michaels stuff. That was pretty good. But after that, the booking after the Triple H stuff wasn't that good anymore. I mean, you had your decent stuff with Bray, but at that point, he was just, his body started betraying him. But I do got a banger today. This rivalry right here is the 2 intense men in professional wrestling history. Where you got the Macho Man Randy Savage with the color for the energy, the intensity, Slim Jim. Then of course, you got my main man, Ric Flair with the drip, the splash, the swagger. No Sauce Walker. So this is one of the most underrated rivalries in wrestling history. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to give y'all that, for today. If you're new to the page, comment, subscribe. And then after this episode, it will be Kofi Mania. And then after that, it may be, don't take my word for it, it might be a weekly or the Hulk Hogan or probably the potential episodes. So look out for one of them 3. They might come after them 2 episodes. And the reason I'm recording the Kofi, because the Kofi is the 900 subscriber episode, and I supposed to have been recorded it at the 900 episode, but I love the Undertaker stuff so much, and I was into that, so I decided to record the Undertaker stuff. You know what I'm saying? But let's get to this rivalry. You know what I'm saying? Like I just said, Ric Flair and Macho Man Randy Savage are both legendary guys. You know what I'm saying? What is promo, outfits, energy. But they both wanted to be the best. You know what I'm saying? And they gave us good product wrestling matches and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So, we're going to go over their matches. And we're going to give a little background. Like I said, probably a little short video, probably 20 minutes or 30 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But if you're new to the page, hit that comment, subscribe, hit that notification button. You know what I'm saying? So, we're going to see something real quick. I'm going to set up real quick. So, you know what I'm saying? So, I just want to give y'all that content today. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? It's where you got some of their best matches, and you got some of their worst matches. You know what I'm saying? So, they did a lot for the wrestling business. You know what I'm saying? And they did a lot. You know what I'm saying? Over the years. You know. So here it is. You got the history behind the guys. Here we go. You got Ric Flair, who the 16-time world champion. You got 1-time Intercontinental champion, 3-time WWE champion, and of course the infamous Royal Rumble, where he was drunk and he entered at number 4 and won a WWE championship. Well, he a 2-time WWE champion. My bad, not 3-time. I'm sorry. Then of course you got Macho Man Randy Savage, decorated career. He's a 4-time WCW champion, 2-time WWE champion, World War III Battle Royal winner, and of course the original King of the Ring winner in 1997 when he took on the gimmick of King Macho Man Randy Savage when Six Action Sherry became his manager. You know what I'm saying? Then of course you got Ric Flair. I mean, the rivalries they had, the guys that they defeated over the years. Ric Flair battled Dusty Rhodes, Sting, Hulk Hogan, HBK, Barry Windham, Harley Race, Triple H, Terry Funk, the man I'm talking about now, Randy Savage, Ricky Steamboat, hell, even his own homeboy, Arn Anderson. Then of course you got Randy Savage. Come on, man, you got to put the host on there. George Animal Steel. You know what I'm saying? Dusty Rhodes, Honky Tonk Man, Ted DiBiase, Tito Santana, Ultimate Warrior, Jake the Snake Roberts, Ric Flair. You know what I'm saying? They accomplished a lot, faced each other a lot. So I checked out this website. Shout out to the website Sportstra. They got some of the ranked matches. They ranked it from trash to best. Let's see what we got. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what we got here. So, here we go. Starrcade 1995. So we're going from 10 to 1. WCW had a cool concept of the World Cup wrestling being the format of Starrcade 1995 with New Japan talent involved. Ric Flair and Randy Savage wrestled one match earlier in the night to fit overall theme. Flair won a triple threat over Sting and Lex Luger to instantly gain a title shot against Macho Man Randy Savage. So y'all gotta remember, so the month before then, they had to vacate the WCW World title, you know what I'm saying, because of the controversy with Hulk Hogan and the Giant at Halloween Havoc. So they had to vacate the belt. So they had a 60-man battle royal, World War III at the 1995. Randy Savage had won. This is due to controversial fashion because Hulk Hogan didn't get eliminated. So I guess they're going to build Hogan versus Savage in 96. Well, they did end up having it, but at that time, Hogan was a face, so there we go. So, both men being tied, Flair wrestling in his matches back-to-back led to a less memorable. Flair defeated Savage to become WCW World Champion once again. You know what I'm saying? So, I think this is what Liz betrayed Randy. I'm not sure. Then, of course, Nitro, August 12th, 1996. This from worst to best. Number 9. One of the final big single matches in the rivalry between Ric Flair and Randy Savage came on the August episode of Nitro, where Flair was the United States champion and defended it against Savage shortly into the new era of WCW with the new World Order running the show. Hulk Hogan came out and hit Savage with a chair when the referee wasn't looking to start their feud. Flair took advantage of with a cheap victory, even though he was also standing against the NWO at that point. WCW used this as a throwaway match to set up Savage wanted revenge on Hulk Hogan. Well, Ric Flair is the dirtiest player in the game, which I would expect. Then, of course, number 8. August on the number 8, February 19th, 1996, on the episode of Nitro. Another noteworthy match between Ric Flair and Randy Savage came on the earlier 1996 episode of Nitro, where WCW booked a highly anticipated show with the Hulk Hogan versus Arn Anderson opening and Savage and Flair closing the show for the WCW Championship. This match was a bit more compelling, but it suffered from too much interference. You know what's funny? Wrestling at that point was wild. Like, you had Vince with the terrible booking, characters trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And then they was adjusting over there. And then you had WCW. Because when I look back at WCW, like 94, 95-ish, it was a lot of interference, bro. A lot. You be like, God damn, bro. Can y'all start with the interference and give us a classic match? Damn. I digress. But this match was a bit more compelling. Oh, I read this part. So, okay. This match was a bit more compelling. Okay, I read it. Hogan, Anderson, and Kevin Sullivan all getting involved allowed Flair to take advantage and get the dub. After Arn Anderson, one of the best DDTs in the world, Arn Anderson hit his DDT on Savage, and Flair retained to get the dub. Now we getting close to the good stuff. Now this match was just weird. Beach boot camp match. I don't know what the hell this was. Like, folks, you know, they did Bash at the Beach in 1995. It was just like, what the okay? I don't know what the hell they were thinking. We just gonna have a lifeguard match, but I digress. Alright, so WCW went into a gimmick route for Bash at the Beach 1995 when booking Randy Savage and Ric Flair in a lifeguard match. The name was used since the event took place at an actual beach. It was just a lumberjack match. Basically, thank you. Basically what it was. Savage and Flair used their surroundings to have a fun semi-main event, but it was nowhere near the classic in-ring bouts. WCW just wanted a fun payoff to this chapter of their feud. You know, with Hulk Hogan winning the main event versus Vader. Then, of course, classic match on the episode of Nitro, June 17, 1996. This one they was booking Ric Flair versus Randy Savage too much. It was just like, all right, bro, god damn. All right, WCW relied on Randy Savage versus Ric Flair on Nitro often in the era before the WCW Nitro. Before the NWO World Order changed the landscape. The event of Nitro featured a rare TV match between the two without any titles involved since the Giant was the WCW champion. A hot crowd made this one feel more important than the previous TV match. Then, of course, interference again. Here we go. Savage stopping Arn Anderson and Steve Mongo, McMike, and Chris Benoit at various points. He had the crowd behind him until Mongo was back with his briefcase and weapon to help Flair win. Even fans don't like interference. Even fans that don't like interference had to respect that the Four Horsemen members looking strong. It makes sense. Then, of course, the steel cage. At Super Brawl 1996, we had number 5, y'all. They always had good matches, though. They always had good matches. I'm just glad they were close friends, but you know, they always had good matches, though. All right. So, one of the most memorable moments in WCW chapter of the Ric Flair Randy Savage feud featured a shocking. Yeah, this one Elizabeth Trade on. Yeah. Okay. It was a shocking heel turn when Miss Elizabeth signed with WCW. You know, we all thought they were going to get back together with her ex-husband in the steel cage match at Super Bowl. Wrong. Liz was tired of the disrespect. You gotta think about it. In WWE, she was getting disrespected all the time, getting yelled at in interviews. Don't talk to this dude. Don't look up. Don't do this. I'm tired of this, Randy. When a woman fed up, boy, whoo! I know. If anybody know when a woman fed up, I know when a woman fed up, They giving you the deuces and kicking you to the curb, which is okay, but it's a whole nother story. It's cool, but it's all right. When you do wrong, you do better. You learn and do better. Might not be with her, but hey, maybe for the next chapter, and you become a better version of yourself. But it's a whole nother story. But we thinking they finna reunite. Wrong. However, this turned into a huge swerve when she handed a shoe to Ric Flair through the cage to hit Savage with. Flair got the dub out of the WCW Championship match, thanks to Miss Elizabeth turning heel for the first time in her career. We couldn't believe it. There was something new, something fresh. You know? I couldn't believe it. I didn't know she had that dog in it. You know what I'm saying? But she did that. Alright. So, primetime wrestling. This one, Ric Flair had won back the title, but I love that match so much. 1992 was earlier 1992 WWE was kind of weird. But as it started cooking, it started developing Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. You had the Ric Flair versus Randy. It was starting to cook. All right, here we go. WWE had booked a huge rematch between Ric Flair and Randy Savage in 1992 on a primetime wrestling TV show rather than another pay-per-view. Savage's second reign started when he defeated Flair. He defeated Flair at WrestleMania. So his reign started when defeating Flair and lasted until this event. So, backstory. So as you remember, like I said, Ric Flair had won the Royal Rumble. Okay, he won the Royal Rumble. Cool. So they had a press conference for WrestleMania. So the list of who's gonna face Ric Flair, it was Sid Justice, Hulk Hogan, Undertaker, and Randy Savage. So the original choice was Hulk Hogan, but they started building the angle between Sid, because Sid was still, I thought it was the number one contender, boy. Hell yeah, woo, wrong. So they built towards that because Sid had betrayed Hogan, and Hogan wanted to face Sid Justice. Cool. So the next in line was Randy Savage. So I think the angle started with that was they had an angle where Ric Flair said, I had Elizabeth first. He taking pictures with her in the magazines and stuff like that. And I think at one point Macho Man was depressed. So they led up to the classic battle. Macho Man won the title. Then they started building them after a while. After a while, you got through the whack feud with Papa Shango. They started building towards the rematch with Randy Savage versus Ultimate Warrior for SummerSlam, and they had like trust issues. Mr. Perfect was playing mind games and see, who he was gonna join and stuff like that. But it was really Flair and Mr. Perfect plotting on them folks. And I think they had a great match at SummerSlam, but I think they interfered, if I remember, and then this what led to this. So here we go. The two legends had a pretty good match going over 15 minutes with a back and forth action. Flair eventually won after Mr. Perfect and Razor Ramon both ringside interfering to settle Ric Flair to win, to drop the belt. So they also say Flair won the belt just to drop the belt a few weeks later. That was crazy. So that was a good match though. Then of course, number 3, the 1992. Another Nitro match, January 22nd, 1996. WCW wanted a must-watch live show competing against Raw after they debuted in the later half of 1995. One of the first standout moments that they wanted with a shocking WCW title change on early 1996 here. The night opened with Ric Flair defending the WCW Championship against Macho Man Randy Savage, and surprisingly not being able to cheat his way out. Savage won the fun sprint, but the match ranked so high for the impact of the big title change happening on Nitro for the first time. They really did rely on him a lot. That's crazy. And number 2, the Great American Bash 1995. The best WCW match between Ric Flair and Randy Savage came at the Great American Bash 1995. The main event, this was a rare match between the two without the title being involved, as it stemmed from personal issues. Flair attacking Savage father, Angelo Popoff, in previous weeks made the match feel more intense. Popoff even managed Savage this night, but it wasn't enough to win the match. Flair won by stealing Angelo's cane and hitting Savage with it before the pin. Hulk Hogan not defending the WCW Championship on this pay-per-view saw Savage and Flair stepping up with a great PBB main event. Then, of course, the WrestleMania number 1, their best match. The biggest match between Ric Flair and Randy Savage ended up being the best of the legendary rival. Everyone thought Hulk Hogan versus Flair would main event or WrestleMania. We all know why. They went a different route because they said they was doing Ric Flair first. Hulk Hogan doing live shows and the crowd won't respond. And it's crazy. Hogan and Flair matches was cool. Well, that Bad Shit the B match was cool. You know, they had decent matches in WCW, but I guess Vince saw otherwise. So, but the WWE went a different route with Savage versus Flair and Hogan versus Sid. That's the double main event. Hulk Hogan versus Sid, trash. That was the third main event. Even though the better Flair versus Savage match held the WWE Championship on the line, they didn't get to close the show. Crazy work. That didn't stop them from having a classic old school match and playing into the crowd and emotions. Savage won a great match to pay off an even better story on the biggest stage, with Flair also looking great in defeat. So, this is one of the greatest wrestling rivals in history. You know what I'm saying? Both of you guys legendaries and trendsetters. You know what I'm saying? Hall of Famers. They both did their thing. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, y'all, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? Fellas. Y'all, you know, I always say this. Hey, man, if you got mental issue stuff going on and need help, man, go see a counselor. You know what I'm saying? And defeat those demons, you feel me? You know. With that being said, man, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. No doubt.
Nathan Beats.